Okay, so with this, today we are going to learn functions first, then we are going to learn what is lambda function. Lambda function is really very easy. A lot of people don't know because they haven't implemented it. Okay, so lambda function is really fast. I'll tell you the features of lambda function and all later on. Then we are going to learn object-oriented programming features of Python, OOP, and we are going to start with the first one, the most important thing from OOPS, that is object and classes. Okay, and then we'll have a knowledge sharing session. That's what all about. Okay, so it will be fun at the end. So there will not be any quiz today, but it will be more useful and more it will be good activity as compared to the quiz one. Okay, so that today you'll enjoy a lot. Okay, fine. So it will be a very nice experience for all of you, which you might not have uh, uh, seen anywhere. Okay, so nobody does like this. So this is something very few people know. Okay, okay, fine. So with this, let's get started, and let me just tell you that functions. Okay, functions will open up a lot more possibilities. Okay, so are you able to see my screen? Just give me yes if you are able to see my screen, so that I'll get to know that you are with me, and I can start with the high energy that we are maintaining from last 3 days. So it's day 4 of the workshop, and yeah, you are able to see perfect. It's day 4 of the workshop, and we have moved from variables, then operators, then loops, conditionals. Sir, will we learn Django in the workshop? No, sorry, Kedar. I already shown you what all topics that you're going to learn, and Django will not be covered in that. Okay, fine. So so if you want to learn Django, do connect with me later on. Fine. So functions will open up a lot more possibilities. How? Because function will help us to organize the code and reuse the code. Okay. So if you have learn Django in the workshop. Okay. So again, same question. Okay. Fine. So function is a block of organized and reusable code. It means if till yesterday we were writing a couple of codes, right? So we wrote something while we were dealing with while loop, right? So in while we did quite a few things, right? So while I'm just making condition as true, and here we go, and you write first, like suppose hyphen, second, third, and fourth. Okay, right, like that sentences we wrote. And so it was very small code, but in future, whenever you're going to be a good Python developer, or you will have good command over Python, that time you may be writing a code of hundreds of lines, right? Hundreds of lines. I'm just writing anything. Okay, so don't okay. So in such cases you need to maintain the code, you need to organize your code. Okay, you need to reuse the code. Whenever, if suppose if in this particular thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take input from user. Okay, now input of user is very wrong thing. So let's suppose I'm doing the addition operation. Okay, so whatever number, or I can't see your PyCharm. Thanks for telling me. Thank you. I didn't knew. Let me just share full screen. I don't know what I shared. Yeah, thank you for telling me. I didn't know. Yeah, so here I go. Are you able to see my PyCharm? Yes. Yeah, perfect. Thank you guys for telling me, because I don't know what you are saying. So keep informing me, because it will help you. Okay, fine, perfect. Going on. So I just created a new file, python.py, sorry, function.py, and here I'm what we did yesterday, statements in that. But whenever you're going to grow bigger, and whenever you're going to learn some more concept from Python, you will write code of hundreds of lines, right? So my last students who did kind of application, which I'll show you, if they are able to complete, I gave them the task, and they will be finished hopefully tomorrow. Okay, fine. So they are writing code, Python code of hundreds and thousands of lines, not thousands actually right now. So hundreds and 200s of lines, organize their code. What do I mean by organize? So whatever relevant code, suppose I wanted to do operation, like yesterday we did a multiplication operator by printing the table. Okay, so printing the table of the number. Okay, suppose I into where is percentage, yeah, into 10. Okay, suppose it's 10's table which I wanted to do over here, and I will increment by 1. Okay, yeah, so this is what, so I'm going to put the condition over here, I is less than 10, then only, till then only it will work, and here we will have the value of I. I is equal to 0. Okay, so this is what our condition is, and here I go, I'm running the code. So this was a simple program which we saw yesterday that will help us to print the table. Okay, so I'll take it as 1, and whether it is going 90, let me put equals to sign. Here we go, running the code, and I got table of 10. Okay, so this is simple multiplication operator. Okay, so if I wanted to carry out this multiplication operator for other purpose as well, okay, so this is just for table. Now suppose I wanted to do some other operation where multiplication is required. So in such a case, what I'll do is I'll create one block of code which I can reuse again. In this particular scenario, what my reusable code is this. Okay, and then the print statement, first multiplication and then print statement. Okay, so this is my reusable code which I want. So in such a case, what I can do is I can create a function. Now how to create a function, let me just tell you. Okay, so before using function, you need to define a function. So that's the function definition, and then you can use the function. Okay, so how to define how to create function in Python is really very different from how you are creating functions in Java and C++. Okay, so it's quite different. Just look carefully over. Okay, so what I'm going to do is def, you have to give the name of the function. In this case, I want to perform multiplication operation, multiply. Okay, so this is my function, and here I'm going to pass the arguments. Okay, so so I'll be passing an argument, then it will be having some statement like what you need to do, and then you need to return the value what you're supposed to what this function should do. Okay, so here what I want is, suppose this function, this print statement, I'm not going to take print actually, so I'm going to take it out. Here it will do like table t is equal to this, and it will print a t over here. Okay, so this t is equal to this operation I want to do over here because it will be a reusable thing, right? I want to use this multiplication in some other for some other purpose. Okay, so it might be a scenario where suppose you are doing the calculation operation, or you are solving the expression. Okay, so algebraic expressions. In that sense, that scenario as well, you might need addition, subtraction, and multiplication, like that thing. Okay, so in such cases, you need to have a set of code which you can reuse again and again. Okay, so whenever in future, if you want to do any multiplication, any sort of multiplication, what you can do is you can pass a number over here, like suppose a comma b, and here you will do the multiplication of those things. Okay, a into, not plus, into b. Okay, so what it does, and at the end I'm going to return value of t. Now here what I was doing, instead of doing this, what I can do directly, I can see this is the definition of function, and from here I'm calling the function. Okay, from here I'm calling the function, and instead of doing multiplication over here, let's pass this parameter to our function. So first parameter is I, and second parameter is 10. Okay, so it will return a value, multiply. What is the problem? Unresolved multiply, create a function multiply. Okay, so actually it should be before, whenever you see, there is one more rule of Python. So it is the function you need to create first. Okay, you need to define function first, then only you can use it. Now what is happening, I'm using the function first, and then our code is not able to guess it. Our code is not able to identify whether this function is available, because it is trying to look from the line number 1. Okay, it should be above. Yes, actually, Anurag, yes. So it should be above, then only it will work. So let me just take it upside so that we'll be able to use it. Control X, and here we go. So I'm doing the same operation which we were doing, that is printing of table, but the different approach which I followed over here. Okay, so now see, this will do the same thing again, and I'm going to run the code. Here I go, and it is giving me the same output, that is the table of 10. Okay, so same thing, but right now, yesterday over here, right now we created a function, but you will say that previous one was better, right? So putting this I into 10 over here was good. Okay, was good, but right now, since I'm creating, the number of codes or number of lines of the code are increasing, right? So how many of you feel that creating function is creating lengthier code? Yes, type in me if you're feeling so. Nobody? Okay, fine. Because you might know, you might have an idea about how this function works. So right now you will feel, because this is a very small application and we are not doing it is just a printing of table. Okay, is it not that something really crazy? Okay, it is just a normal thing. But in the scenario, like suppose I wanted to use this multiply operation somewhere, some in other operation as well. Suppose right now this is the table of 10. Okay, so suppose I wanted to print the table like 10, then here 20, and then here 30, then here 40, and like that. Okay, so that's that actually the printing the pyramid. But anyways, I'll put the screenshots on the group and you just go and try. Okay, fine. So whenever there will be some other operation, like you want to do the multiplication of or addition of another numbers. Okay, so sorry, multiplication, we'll go with the multiplication. Okay, you need to find, suppose square of 9. Okay, so in that case as well, you can, square will be multiplication of same number with the same number, right? So we can use that multiplication function over here, and it will be 9 comma 9. So I use the same function multiply here. I don't need to do this operation again, this expression which we used over here. So I don't need to do it again if I wanted to do the multiplication of something. Okay, so this is one. So again, this will return us the value, and I need to print the value of this thing as well. Okay, I'm just printing. I can assign it to the variable actually, as square is equal to square, I forgot the s, a, and I'm just printing the value of square. Yeah, so here I go, I'm running the code. I'll get the first, the same function I'm using, multiply. So this function first returning me a table, and the same function is returning me the square of the value. Okay, so this is just a 2 example. So but in programming world, in corporate world, when you are going to enter into the company, you need to use the same sort of. So this is very simple example. I told you that we are just doing a multiplication. So imagine you want to do all the operations, multiplication, addition, division, subtraction, and everything, whatever you see on the calculator. Okay, so everything whatever you want to do. So for doing that each and every operation, you will not be writing the expression on different lines. Okay, let me take two variables again. Okay, a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. Okay, so let me just remove this thing, because it is not making sense, or it will confuse you actually. Yeah, so here we go. So let me create it on the top, because generally variables must be declared on the top. Yeah, here what I wanted to do is, I wanted to do addition of these numbers, I wanted to do multiplication of these numbers, I wanted to do subtraction of these numbers, I wanted to do everything of whatever I wanted to do, so from these numbers. Okay, so in such you will not be going and writing like this, a into b and then a plus b or a minus b, like that. Okay, so it is not a good practice, because in future, so this function, okay, right now it is only related to this file. So this function may be used in some other file or some other class. Okay, so when we'll go to the class, so you will get the importance of this. Okay, so right now the point that you need to take into the consideration is, you need to know how to declare the function and how to access that function, or how to use that function in Python. Okay, so have you understood that how to use the function? This is the definition: def multiply a into b. So that is the value which is coming over here, and it is going to return the multiplication. Okay, so in similar way, so we'll be having one more function called as, just for example I'm taking a comma b, same function, I'm doing the addition, and I can direct another variable a plus b. Okay, so it will return directly, and whenever I'm going to print, whenever I'm going to use those variables directly, multiply and add, so it will help me to get the values directly. Okay, so here we go, I'm just going to print multiply again, multiply, and in bracket I'm going to pass a comma b, and here I go, print add a comma b, right? So this is just an example which I wanted to showcase you, that this is how the functions works. Okay, so this a will not be taking the value of a directly, okay, because we are calling this thing from here. Okay, so this is the multiply we are calling, and here the value will be assigned, and I'm just showing you by running the code. Yeah, here we go, we got the first print statement, which is square, that is square of 99. I'm just removing it right now, because it will help you to understand the code. Yeah, then we have 200. 200 is multiply, right? 10 into 20, 200, and 10 plus 20 is 30. Okay, so just look at the code carefully. This is needed for all the next things that we are going to do. Okay, so have you understood the how to declare function and how you can access the function in Python? Okay, try to fix that syntax in your mind, because you know what will happen if you miss anything. Curly brace of last session. Yeah. Keep it in mind, you need to give a colon. It is not like that the brackets. Okay, so there will not be any brackets, so you will directly return, or you'll do some operation, that statement one, and then you will return. Okay, so if you're not returning, then also it's okay, you can directly print over here directly, but it's always good practice to return the value from the variable, sorry, function, and then you're going to use it with some other purpose. Okay, so this is about function. This is just a normal you declare function, this is how you use function. Okay, so with so yeah, return statement exists a function. Okay, so when you're going to go whenever our code, see, right now I'm just going to teach you the debugging way, or how the interpreter of Python is going to execute this code. Okay, so whenever the interpreter is going to come at this line, it will check whether we have value of A and value of B. If it has, okay, first actually it will call from here, and then this call, the interpreter will go over here, it will take the value, and it will come on this line, it will see A into B. Okay, it did the multiplication, it has assigned the value to T, and then we are returning the T. Whenever interpreter will see this return statement, it will come out from that function. Okay, so that is how the statement over there, that return statement will exit. So this is spelling mistake actually, so it will exit a function, that is exit. So def is only for integer. No, def is just a define. See, I can do like this. I can directly return string as well. Okay, so it is not the case. Def is not. Yeah, so this, whenever I'm going to call multiply, it will return Akshay. Okay, so def is just a kind of syntax. It will a definition of a function. Here I go, I'm running the code. Yeah, so it has gave me only Akshay because I returned only Akshay. Okay, so it is not, def is not the return type actually. There is no such a thing called as return type in Python. Okay, so because I told you, in Python there is no such a data type. You're not going to assign any data type, predefined data type to any variable. Okay, this is not allowed in Python. It will show you a syntax error. In similar way, we will not be giving any void, right? So that is what you're asking, right? So void function name, and then it will run, or int function name, it will return that integer value, or string function, it will return the at the end it will return string. So it is not the case. So whatever you want to return, you can return. There is no such a limitation. Clear? Got everything clear about the function? Yes. If yes, give me yes into chat box. If you have any questions about functions, do put in the chat. Okay, fine. So with this, so this is function. Okay, but right now if you observe, we didn't do a lot of big thing. Okay, we just return a thing, like we just return the multiplication of this thing. But if you have the very small thing, or if you want to return only one value, okay, if you want to return only one value, and if you don't want to do multiple things. Okay, so see, right now in this addition operation there is only one statement. Okay, so but in some functions where you want to find, let me just give you the yesterday I told you to create a bot, right? So that bot will ask you every time to add a new person into the array of the string, right? So I told you to create a security bot. That bot will help you to check if the bot will ask user for the input. If user gave a right name, if the name is present in the list, so that list, then it will allow that person to come in. Otherwise it will give a message that you are not allowed to enter into room because you are not authorized person. Okay, so this sort of application will require function which is called as check. Okay, I'm just trying to create a dummy function over here. Okay, check user. Okay, so like this, or here we'll get a username. Okay, username, and then we are going to do some operation. What sort of operations? Like if present. Okay, I'm just doing the I don't know what it called. I'm just trying to help you with the flow chart of this thing, or क्या बोलते हैं दूसरा उसको? Flowchart is like that. Algorithm. I'm just trying to show you the algorithm. Okay, so if this is the function check user, if present, okay, message will give you message in message, okay. Else what will give is not allowed message, right? So this is sort of a big application where we need to create a function, okay. So but when you know that there is only the function is going to return only one thing at the end, whether it is going to return addition, whether it or it is going to return the multiplication value, integer value, or okay, whether you are allowed to come in or not, okay, that sort of value. In such a case, you don't need to create the function like this, okay. For doing such operation, there is some advanced function in Python which is called as lambda function, okay. So which I'll tell you, but first try to understand this thing as well. So argument versus parameters. So see, so whatever we use in function definition, def add a comma b. Sir, will this recorded will be lifelong? Yeah, it will be on YouTube. You can go and rewatch anytime, not an issue. Yeah. So just try to understand before I'm going to lambda function. I forgot I am having this slide as well in between, because this is very important thing. Again, the interviewers may ask you if you are going to um, go for interview or Python developer job. They will ask you what is the parameter and what is the argument, okay. So you need to know it. This is very fundamentals, and you need to have the clear idea about it, okay. See, this is function name. I'm passing some parameters, okay. So this is also, this is definition of function. Here I'm getting those parameters. So both the way I called it parameters, but it's not actually. I'm not using the right word. So in definition, function definition, whenever you are going to use any variable, those variable called as parameters, okay. And when you are calling the function, this is the function call. What we pass to the function, that is the function arguments, okay. So here, whenever we are calling the function, so this is we are passing function arguments, and in function definition, where function is actually going to execute or perform the work, so these are called function parameters. Clear? So take note of this point. This is again very important, and you all of you need to know. So it applies to all the programming language, not only Python, okay. So this is very important thing. Okay, have you got the difference between parameter and argument? Yep, perfect. So we have next thing, which is lambda function, as I already told you. So function will open up a lot more possibility, that's okay. So lambda function takes any number of parameter. It means, so right now here you actually can pass number of, like you have C, you have D. Suppose you want to take information from user, okay. So first you will take a name of the person, address of the person, email address of the person, contact number of person, okay. So such things require so many parameters, okay. So that you can do with normal function as well. But lambda function also allows you to take any number of parameters. You can take any number of parameters. See, now you are getting the parameters, okay. So parameters are these parameters, and arguments are here, arguments, okay. So but returns only one value, okay. See, in such case, in this case, it may return or it may not return, or it may return some more values, okay. So like list or not list actually, like it may return multiple values at different point of time. So but this lambda function will return only one value, and it has to return that, otherwise lambda will not work. So in this particular case, so if you don't write return statement over here, and if you directly print this value of t, okay, so this will also suffice your need, whatever you wanted to show. Same thing will get printed over there. But see, I got, okay, none qi a into b, okay. Here okay, this is 200, okay, this is t, I guess. No, this one, this multiply has no, this add, who gave me none? Okay, this will return, okay, this will not return to this, and this has printed the none actually. Yeah, this has printed the none. If I remove this, because we are not returning, multiply function is not returning right now, so that's why it is giving me none. Okay, I'm not calling again, I need to call it, otherwise it will not get executed, okay. So I'm just calling the multiply function, yeah, with a comma b. Here we go, it will give me the output, yeah. So 30 and 200, okay. So that's how you, even if you not return value, that's okay, but lambda function will give you always one value in a return, whether it is true, false, whether it is expression of the thing, but it cannot contain multiple expressions. So what do I mean by multiple expression? Multiple expression is like this. This is one expression, this is second expression. So this is what you can't do with lambda, okay. So let's just go and take a quick look at how you can write a lambda function, okay. So before using function, you need to define the function, okay. So I'm going to take the same example I'm going to show you how this blocks of 2-3 codes. Okay, so how you can replace this with lambda function. Okay, so I'm having a different file for lambda function so that it will help you to understand. Now look at the syntax. Okay, so lambda, this is the keyword. This keyword you need to mention, then only it will understand. Okay, so this is the function. Okay, this is the lambda function where it should be written something like this. Okay, and there is no such brackets. Those brackets that you saw, so those are not there. Okay, so lambda, I'm going to take arguments as a comma b. Right now we are having only two, and return, in return what you need to do is, here you need to write expression that return, no, this return will not work, it will directly return a into b, and it is anonymous function actually, so you will not any name to this function. Okay, are you getting my point? Just try to understand. So we are not giving like addition was having a name, right? So addition, but this lambda is not having any name. Okay, so lambda, so then again, but you can assign that function, assign that lambda to some other variable, and to that variable we can pass the parameters. Okay, so that is how it works. Okay, so let me just quickly show you how it works. See, now this is the simple definition of the function. Right now you don't need to follow this whole big syntax, because you know you will be having only one expression and it will return value every time. So in such a case you are going to use this lambda, and you are going to assign this lambda to some other variable. Okay, multiply. So this is your function name actually. I misspelled multiply, yeah. And then I'm going to call this function like this. Okay, print multiply, and here I'm going to pass the parameters 10, 20. Okay, I'm running the code, run. Here I go, I got the same value as I was getting there. But then you will be asking, right, what is the use of this thing? Suppose if you have multiple values, okay, suppose you want to do addition of 5 numbers. Okay, so in that case going with, so see, addition function, you know, it will always add the everything and it will return the value. So you know there will be only one expression, that is a plus b plus c plus d plus whatever it may be, 5 numbers only though, and it will return the addition of these numbers at the end. So in such cases, defining the function is not a good choice, because that function definition, okay, this function definition will take, or the execution of this normal function will take more time. Okay, so it is more time consuming. So whenever you know, do two conditions. Whenever you know there is only one expression in the function and you know it is going to return the value, in such case, sir, can you give us more than? So that is what I'm showing you. Suppose I'm having addition function where I wanted to add 4 numbers. So in that case as well, I can use this lambda, and here I'm going to give my parameters. Okay, so let's suppose a comma b comma c comma d. Okay, so these are my 4 parameters right now over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the addition of all the numbers. Okay, and d. Here we go. If I wanted to use this function, what I'll do, I'll use this add, and inside that bracket I'll pass 4 parameters. Okay, so what are those parameters? Suppose 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. Okay, so 4 plus 1 5, 5 10. Okay, so it should return the 10 value, because a plus c plus d is equal to 10. So 1 2 3 3 3 6 and 4 10. So I'm running the code, and here we go. So we got the value of 10, and I told you, right, so you can use any number of parameters. That's what the statement over there. It can take any number of parameters. So if you want to provide 100 values as a parameter, you can provide, but it will return only one value in the end. You can't return multiple values. Okay, so that's the limitation. Okay, so mostly can we use input function here? No, you can't use input function over here. So input function is not return function actually. So whenever you are going to use input function, okay, so input function, it will wait. Input function, it will wait for user input, and whatever value you are going to get in through user, okay, you need to do something with that value. Okay, right now I'm printing, or in the case of chatbot, the security bot, you are comparing whatever you are getting, right? So this is a 2 expression. This is 1 expression. So in such cases, this lambda function will not work, or it is not a feasible solution to use the lambda function. Lambda function will be used mostly, I'll tell you where we use, or the industry people use. They use lambda to check whether it is to get some boolean value from some expression. Okay, suppose if you want to check whether the person is present in my database, so lambda function will be used, which is much faster, and it will quickly go and check that value from the database, and it will quickly return the result. Okay, so it is not there. Yes, so damn quickly. So that's why, so whenever you know that you need to return only one value, so you just go and use this lambda function. It is really very easy. Clear? Yes, any doubts in lambda function? So like Shraddha has asked 2 parameters. Any other questions with lambda? So what if lambda function has more parameters but user has provided lesser argument than the parameter? Yeah, so this comes under the types of arguments actually. Let me just show you. So if I provide like this, so it will go with those things and it will show me error that 4 parameters are expected, but it has given the 3 parameters. It will not work. So there is one more concept of parameters. So argument types. Okay, so right now this is keyword, this is default argument. So whatever argument we are having, we need to pass it. Okay, so default argument, keyword argument, and there are few more types, so which we can't go in depth right now because yeah, so because we that is not the agenda, today's agenda. So I have one more video on my YouTube channel itself, so you just go there and you watch it. It will help you to clear what types of parameters that you can pass, what types of arguments. Actually arguments, here we are passing arguments and these are the parameters. Okay, so clear? Okay Abhinav, good. So okay, Abhinav asked it, fine. So this is about lambda function. So I hope this is clear to you. So you just go and try a few more things with this lambda. It will help you out to grab the right thing. Topper, who topper? Fine. So with this, so let's move towards the next concept, which is OOPS, object-oriented programming. So how many of you are aware about the OOPS concept? Yes. So class, object, inheritance, and all those things. No, Abhinav is just give me yes if you are aware. Yeah, Mahi is saying yes. Okay, so typing no as well, it will be okay. So I should have launched a poll actually so that I'll get to know how many people know and how many people don't know. Okay, fine, perfect. So we are again going to go from the very kind of simple example, which will help you to understand the flow or understand the concept of OOPS. Okay, so OOPS not tell you how to program. Okay, but OOP, object-oriented programming, does not tell you how to program. Means how you should program, it will not tell you, but it tells you how to think about designing of your software. Means how to write code or what code you should write, you should not worry about. You should first think from the higher level. Okay, so suppose I wanted to build a software for my startup. Okay, so this is Tech Amplifiers. We want to build a program, we want to build a software wherein all the students who are coming in, okay, all the students who are registering for my workshop, I'll take the names, email ID, and backend script will be there. It will automatically go and send them email with the respective details, and they will come into this, and the next kind of details will be shared with them automatically. So it will be email through right now, because sending text message is something which even I don't know, I need to know. So that is what the scenario, just try to understand. I'm building a software which will collect the data, will process the data, and it will send an email. Okay, so this is a process, right? So we need to, whenever user input is coming, right? So that user input I'm going to process. So first is we are going to take out only the emails. Okay, that is one function. See, this function will be used for 180 people who registered for this workshop. Okay, so this same function is going to use this work for multiple times whenever user is going to register. And in second case, so we got an email, so we already have a template where all the details are there. So what the second function will do is, it will collect the email, or it will collect the template, it will collect the email, and it will send an email. Okay, so that is another function. Now I have two functions. Okay, so if now you know these are two different sets that we need to have. So what OOPS tells you is, so combine those such things like variables, functions, all of things that you need to do one specific task, combine them and put it in one file called as class. Okay, so that is what OOPS tells you to think about the design, how you want to design your software. Okay, So let's take an example of this thing. Okay, I just tell you a software. I just told you a software example. Let's just take a normal example. Okay. So now this is the bike. Okay. So what all things are required to build his bicycle? What all things that you will require to build such bicycle? Yes. Can anybody tell me what all things required? Suppose you are the manufacturer of this bicycle. You want to manufacture the bicycle because it is right now a lot of people are buying those things. All yeah, I'm asking about the names of the components. Yes, not I know all the components. No idea? Fine. So you will need seat. You will need tires. You will need that body, chassis, brake, and all handle and everything. Okay. So those small components actually. So if you consider the software, in software, what are the components? The functions, the variables. Okay. Those are the components to build a software, right? So in such a way, this OOPS will help you to think what all things that you need. Okay. So whenever you will not directly able to create bicycle, or let's take one more example. Okay. So if you want to manufacture a car, you first need to collect what all things you require to build that car. Okay. What you need engine, you need the doors, glasses, then mirrors, and all those things. Okay. So all those are components. In software terminology, those components are, let's take an example of calculator, which is a software. So what are the components in case of calculator? Addition function, multiplication function, division function. Okay. And then to all those functions, we are going to pass the parameters, right? We are going to pass the arguments which will be stored in any variable, or some user will give those inputs. Okay. So these are some of the functions, but creating a function in a one file is a different thing. We will not be able to use those function in some another thing. So see, now if I develop, let's take an example of car. If I develop, use that engine in while manufacturing another car, can I use that engine? If I have all the model ready, quickly can I use that engine for same model, same thing manufactured? Can I use that same working of that engine for another car? Yes. No, I'm not using the same, the working, the principles of that engine, and I'm going to use in another, while manufacturing another car. Okay. So process I'm asking about, not exactly physical engine actually. Okay. How to build that engine and all those things we can reuse. So that's called as reusability. Now try to imagine from programming perspective. I have created a function which I told you actually, multiply function, which I shown you. So that function will be required for my another program. Okay. Yeah, I'm having another program which requires that multiplication function. Okay. So the multiplication function which I wrote in one program, or so if I wanted to import in another function, so we can't do it directly. But if we start putting those things, or if we start putting the both the codes in the concepts of object-oriented programming, and if we use class, so we can easily call that class in another file, and you can use that function from that class. Okay. So that's the kind of feasibility this OOPS feature, object-oriented programming, will give you, that you can use the same stuff again and again and again. So function will be used in, if you go with object-oriented programming stuff, which is class, which I'll teach you in the next slide. So that class having number of functions, number of variables. So those variables you can use in some another file, or another, while developing some another program. Okay. Or for doing some another function of your, or the feature of the same program. Okay. Suppose I'm having already system like collecting emails and sending an email. Now, so suppose in future, if I wanted to do some additional thing with their contact numbers as well, so I can do in future, right? So I'll write. So see, there is already one set of block, a class, where I have captured all the details, name, then email ID, contact number, and all. So this is already done. Now what I'll do is I'll reuse this get name function over here, or get contact number function, which are already written, and I'll reuse that function while developing new feature for next workshop. Okay. So that is how you can leverage the work which you already did. Okay. So this is the fundamentals of, you can think about how you can do the program. Doing physically sitting and doing, it's all together different thing. Okay. So that's how the OOPS works. OOPS will help you to think about designing upfront without writing single line of code. You can think, or you can write on a paper, I'll do this and like that. Okay. So that is possible only with OOPS. That's why object-oriented programming or the programming language which provides OOPS feature are more stronger than others. Okay. So there are a few more actually. So I just give it a broader perspective. So these are actually the features of OOPS which are there in Python, OOPS object-oriented programming system. So we have very first, so try to understand, that's why I put it in the steps. So these are the sequence through which anybody should learn. So very first thing, the important thing is object. Okay. So actually class comes first, but class is of no use. So if you create class, it will not, class is not of any use until unless you are not going to create object of that class. Okay. If you create object of class, then only class will be useful. Okay. Because ultimately that object is going to call all the functions, all the things which are written inside that class. Okay. So if I give you a simple example, if your class is like a room where inside that room there are so many things available, but if you don't have a key, the object is kind of key which will go and open that class, and it will try to access all the things which are present in that class. Okay. So in just a different terminology, I never gave such kind of example. Have you understood the concept of this class and object? Yes. So we'll go with examples actually as well. Yes. If no, please tell me no so that I can give you one more example. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So no is no. Fine. That's okay. That's okay. Good, Rahul. I appreciate. Okay. More example. Okay. So see now, suppose I'm going to create a class of tech and papers, or let me take an example of your college. Okay, college is a class. Okay, so inside college, what happens? There are different departments. Okay, there are different subjects or different people who are teaching there. Okay, so let's take an example. You are a variable who is learning in that college. Okay, so learning in which department and learning which topic, those are kind of functions. Okay, so if you want to access you, or if I want to access you, okay, from your college, so what I'll go is I'll create object of class, or I'll create an object. So object will help me to enter into your college, and then I'll be able to access you directly. I may not have, so just a broader perspective I'm giving you. So if I want to connect with Rahul, okay, and I don't know, but I know your college, I can come in your college and I can reach out to you, but we can't connect directly. Okay, forget about the social media part. Okay, so if you want to access the person inside that college, okay, college is kind of class, and inside the class there are departments. Departments are like function, and the people who are learning, or the students who are learning, are kind of variables and variables. So there is no other things, variables in that college. Okay, so if I wanted to access variables or function, I will create, I'll create an object of that college, and then only I'll be able to access the functions, or I'll be able to enter into your computer department or any other department. Okay, I'll give you an example which will help you to clear this concept more better. Okay, so right now today we will be focusing on object and class only, and we have, oh my god, we have a lot many things. We have inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. Those 4 points in a day is not possible. Okay, so fine, let's see. So tomorrow's thing I was thinking. Okay, fine. So guys, we have 28 participants over here. So will it be okay if we have one more session after this, after tomorrow? So it was 5-day workshop. Can we make it 6 days? Yeah. So actually, so I want to tell you the one thing which I learned, from this workshop is, this is the first time I planned a 5-day workshop, and I got to know the content which I have, the content which I deliver is not I'll not be able to, or it is more for 5 days. So next time onwards, I'm going to make it 7-day workshop so that I can go a bit slower. Yesterday itself, somebody telling me. So that time I went home and I realized, oh my god, I'm getting fast means I'm going fast means I was going fast because I wanted to cover so many things. I wanted to give so many things from my side. Okay, so that's the agenda. But fine, this is my key takeaway. And second key takeaway from this thing, second thing which I learned. So can anybody tell me, we have around 120 people or 125 are there, and only 20 people. It means, see, okay, 122 people are there, only 28 people are there. What about 100 people? Why they are not joined? Can anybody tell me why they have not joined? Yes, do you have any idea? Yesterday only it happened, like going fast. Okay, fine. Since I got that, that's why I'm a bit slower today. I'm not going fast today. Okay, yes, can anybody tell me? they can see recordings. Okay, this might be reason. So next time I'll not keep recordings. Okay. What else? I won't see recordings. They all are not interested. No, 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 no. They are interested. They have written the reason why they want to. Connection issues. You can say 5% of people keep recording. No, no. From next time you see. I'll tell you. I'll tell you one thing. Because of exams. Which exams? Sleeping. Yeah. So fine. I'll tell you what happens is, see. So there is a link which a person posted yesterday on our group, right? So those are free courses. So what happens with free courses? You will enroll, but you will not go and watch it. I'll give you 100% guarantee that if you enroll into 10 course, you will not complete any of the course from that free thing. But if you pay to that Udemy or any other platform, you will go and you will complete that because you paid it, right? So that's what happened, which I really felt because of that message he dropped on the group. And from next time onwards, I'm going to keep this session, the 7-day workshop, as paid, because free people are not respecting. They think like it's free, it is not having any value. So have I delivered so much of value which you might not get in any of the paid sessions? So have I delivered value to you? Is it adding value into your skills? Yes, right. It is adding, right? So since even though this is so power packed sessions, you're learning so many things, still people are not coming because they don't see that importance, or they don't feel that it is really very important, because apna kuch nahi ja raha hai na, so let it be. And the second thing is they're going to get the recording, no doubt, 100%. Yes, Himanshu, yeah. And second thing, they are going to get recording, but I saw that only 3 or 4 people are watching. Other than them, nobody is watching. Okay, so that's the thing. So the reason behind I arranged the workshop, I could have given you recording session as well. I could have recorded. Actually, I'm having a recorded version of my last 1 month training. Okay, so those who want to go and clear any of the concept, you can watch this session or the previous session. Yes, you have taught a lot of things which no one can share from you. Yes, Kalyan, yeah. So do paste this message in public, so that everybody will get to know. Okay. So it's because that's why I'm going to keep a nominal price. Actually, I don't want to put a lot of efforts on this, so I'll keep some nominal price for the next 7-day workshop. Okay, fine. So that's it. Let's come back to a point. So that was my 2 key learnings. First, I need to increase the days. That will be 7, because see, on 4th we are starting this. Okay, inheritance will take 1 day or 1 hour, and polymorphism, abstraction, we are not going to cover. Abstraction and encapsulation are almost similar thing. So this all inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction and encapsulation requires 1 complete hour to come and help you understand. Okay, so function is very easy, loops is very easy, if and else condition is very easy, but those object oriented concepts may take more time. Okay, so that's the thing which I realized, which I thought I will cover it, but in 5 days it is not possible. Fine. So I'll improve it in the next thing. Okay, so with this, let's go and do some hands-on on this particular. Do one thing, keep session for free for 2 days and keep paid for the rest of the 5 days. Okay, 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 fine. So I'll take that. Yeah, suggestions are always welcome. I felt amazed. I feel to take preparation. Okay, good to see you. Okay, that is why I told you that the one thing which you really liked about the workshop, second thing which you learned from this workshop, you have to note it down. Okay, don't share it right now. I'm going to give you the opportunity. We are going to play some good thing, or we are going to have some fun at the end of the session. Okay, so it will be something really crazy. Okay, so let's come back to the point, the classes. Okay, so class is an object which we're learning. I already told you, class is something where there will be variables, there will be functions which are embedded, or which are inside the class, and we can reuse those things. But first thing you need to know is how you can true Kalyani. We should appreciate he deserves positive prayer. Kya Kalyani kya dala, sir has shared a lot of yeah, base. So that was my whole point actually. The base, I just wanted to create a base so that you can take a boost from there. Okay, yeah, coming to the point. So let's go and let's some work on the classes. Okay, let's create a class actually. So how to create a class? Again, there is an empty file of class. So just everybody forget about chats. Right. We'll talk about that later. First of all, focus on the screen. Okay, nobody's going to put anything on chat right now. Okay, I'll give you time. Okay, so class. So this is simple. Keyword which you have to type over here, like lambda was the keyword, class is again a different keyword. Okay, So that's the use of this ID. PyCharm ID will help you to identify whether it is keyword or not. Okay. So, and if you made any mistake like capital C, it will say it is not, sorry, it will directly tell you that this is something which is not present at all. It will show you an error. Okay. So that's why I recommend you to go with this ID. Okay. Okay. So we have class. So anyway, in every thing, if you create function, if you create variable, you need to give a name. In similar way, when you are going to create class, you need to provide a name. Okay. So class will be calculator. I'm going to use the example of calculator over here. Calculator. Here, this is my class. So again, so there will not be any curly braces, there will not be any brackets or kind of thing. So simply you just need to put a colon, and after that you need to hit enter. Okay. So this is the class which we are trying to create. Okay. So this is a class of calculator. What I wanted to do is I wanted to create some functions into this class. So I'm copying the example of multiplication again. Okay, because you might be familiar with this. I can take more examples, but you may not understand, or it will be very difficult for you to understand. Okay, so this multiply will have def. Okay, this is how you define function, def multiply, and then there will be two parameters a comma b. Okay, colon, and then I'm going to return a into. So this is what I did, but right now if you observe, this a is shown in some different color. But if you go in our functions, so we created same function, right? Multiply. The color of this a was different and b was different, right? So this multiply is a function, and this multiply, where is class? Yeah, this is again a function. But when you are going to create a function inside a class, okay, it will not be a normal function. It will have some different representation. Okay, so what is that? You need to use a keyword which is called as self. Okay, self comma a. Now what this self is all about, let me just tell you. Okay, so I have this thing, so don't get confused with this self. It is just a keyword, just a normal keyword like lambda, like for, like while, like class. It is just a normal keyword. Okay, so it refers to the current instance of the class. What do I mean by current instance? See, this a, okay, this a may have some different data, or in while going in the next line, a is equal to a plus 1. Okay, so after a long time I have used this thing. Okay, a is equal to a plus 1. Okay, so now the instance had changed. Okay, I told you integer is immutable type. Okay, so see the value of a, if I print over here id of a, actually id of a, I'll get a different id. Okay, and after doing this operation, if I put id of a, it will give me a different value. Okay, can I just quickly show you? But no, I can show you. I need to tell you the object first, and then I'll show you. Okay, so just keep it right now. Hash is a comment. Okay, not double slash. Even so, I want to do addition. No, I don't want to do addition operation. I'm going to comment it as well. Okay, so let's try to understand a into b. I just want to do a multiplication operation. That's it. Okay, but while doing the so if you consider some other function where you want to process that data, if you want to play with that number which is going to come with the with this particular in this particular function, so the value will change, the instance will change, and when you are going to use this a, it will have a different value altogether. Okay, but if you want to maintain the value of a as it has received in this function, so in this case what you can do is you can use self dot a. Okay, so what it will do is it will tell us that it is the instance. Okay, so it refers to the current instance of the class. Okay, current means actually I made a wrong statement actually over here. So current instance means the current instance which the a is having. So the latest version, actually the latest version, not the first one. I was wrong over there. Yeah, so the latest version which we are having, that it will. So if you are going to process, see here a is equal to a plus 1. Now your code may get confused that whether to take this a or whether to take this a. Okay, it will confuse. See, so current instance it is showing this. Now if I comment this, so this is the current instance. The self dot a is taking the value of this particular a. So are you able to see this is in a black color and this is in a white color? So just help me understand if you are able to see. You have to, yeah, that I know. I'll teach. Don't worry, Mahi. Just tell me, are you able to see the two different colors of A? Yeah, perfect. So I'm just trying to help you to understand what do I mean by color current instance of the class. of the variable. Okay. So see, now the current instance of the variable is this a, which is the added one, the new one. If I come in this line, see the color of this a has changed. It means this is the current instance. Getting my point? So it will always take the current instance of the variable, not this one. This a might be 10. So after doing the addition, it will become 11. So my code, this elf.a will always take the latest value of the variable. Okay. So that's the beauty of this thing. So it will be helpful when you are going to do some big code, or whenever you are going to build some robust application, the full-fledged application. That time you will be able to understand the importance of this thing. Okay. So again, if I don't use b, and let me just show you. Okay, I'm just going to show you what will happen. Okay, b plus 1. Okay, so it's b. Okay, so I'm not sure which value of b it will take. So it should take the value which is coming directly, not the new one. Okay, so now this is the function. This is just a function, and I just wanted to call this function which is inside the class. How to access the function? What I told you. What you need to do is you just need to write multiply and give the parameters. Okay, so a is 10 and b is 20. Again, as a and b are my favorite variable, 10 and 20 are my favorite numbers. Okay, so I'll be using this 10 and 20 every now and then. Okay, but since even though multiply is there, this multiply is showing error because this is not a normal function. I told you, in normal function it was working. Okay, so if you have any function declared above, you can use that function, you can call that function on the next line, but that is not the case with this when we are dealing with class. In class, if you write any function inside the class, you can access the function only through the object of class. What I mean by that? So simply, if I wanted to reach to you, yeah, cell.a, no, that is different one. Hold on a second. Yeah, I wanted to create object of this class, and then only through that object I'll be able to access you, or I'll be able to get the data of your, okay, or I'll be able to access the function altogether. Not function actually. I'll be able to access the data which is function is returning. Function is returning multiplication, right? So function should return me multiplication. So in that case, I'll go and I'll create object, and through, and then function will give me the value. I'll not be able to call the function directly. Okay. Now let's see how to create a function, or sorry, how to create object. Okay. So that is very important part. How to create object? Want to create object? So that is very simple. Just create, just give a name. Okay. This is the name of the object. Equals to what is the name of the class? Calculator. Calculator is class, and give a bracket, and it will create your object. Okay, so whenever you want to access a function inside this calculator class, what you will do is you will take a help of this thing. See, now let me give you an example in a different way. Okay, so all of you are like an object for me. Okay, so if I'm a programmer, if I wanted to enter into your college, if I wanted to arrange any IoT workshop in your college, do I know anybody from your college? Let's take an example of Anurag might not be in college, he's doing internship. So anybody over here, just put your college name down there. So just to take an example, any name of college, type it fast. We are running out of time. Yeah, GC, correct. Okay, fine. So you are from GC, right, Rahul? So do you know, so were you there in my IoT workshop? Were you there? Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Okay, fine. So since Rahul is the first, I'm taking the example of GCK, Government College of Engineering, Karat. So we had fun, a lot of fun actually there. That was my first physical workshop actually. But okay, what is MMM, Ritik? MMMUT, right? So Madan Mohan. So yeah, Tarun is from CUP. Fine. MIT, I don't know. MIT WPU, I know. Madan Mohan. Yeah, so you guys are all from different places. Fine. I'm just taking example of, just try to understand the concept of object. Okay. So I'm taking example of okay, I forgot the name. So Rahul, I guess, right? So Rahul is an object for me. So if I wanted to access, if I wanted to reach to the I'm still studying. Okay, fine. You're doing masters. Okay, fine. Perfect. So if I wanted to go and access any function in your college, suppose I wanted to know when you're planning to organize so like let's take an example of GCK. So I'm planning to have a TEDx talk over there. So I'm having other objects over there, not Rahul. So I'm planning to have give a TEDx talk, which is going to organize in GCK. Okay, so in GCK, so if I want to know what are the dates, okay, this is the event, right? So what are the dates, when it is going to happen, whom should I reach? Okay, so there will be organizers of TEDx, right? So whom should I reach? So if I want to access those values, if I wanted to do some operation by going that college, I'll not go direct. I'll call an object, and with the help of that object, I'll go and access the function which are there available in the college. Getting my point? Are you able to relate with me? Yes. Are you able to relate with me? Let every one of you take your example. If I wanted to come in your college, if I wanted to organize any physical workshop in your college, because I love physical, I don't love this thing actually. So I started loving because I'm getting good response. Okay, so if I want to come and organize any physical workshop in your college, what I'll do, I'll connect with you, and then you will tell me what is happening, or you will help me to connect with your professor, and then we'll have that thing that this is going to help and all the presentation, all those, and then we'll have the workshop. In similar way, if I wanted to access, this is your college, okay, calculator is college, multiply is a function which is in your college, suppose TEDx event, and if I wanted to enter into this college, I'll create an object called as C, which will be you in your case, and what I'll do is I'll through C dot function, okay, C dot multiply. Now see the color is changed, okay, so it is not showing error. So through C I entered into the calculator and I'm able to access the function which is there, okay. So that's how you will be able to use the object or the function which is written inside the class, okay. So again, so this will do the same thing for me. I'm just going to this will give the value. I'm going to store it in a variable like m is equal to, and let me just show you by printing whether it is going to give me a right output or not, okay. So it's m. Here I go, I running the code, run. Yeah, calculator has no arguments a, okay, no arguments a, passing 10 and passing 20, and it is saying there is no argument a. Let's wait a minute. So this a is not working, the funda of self. Yeah, so try to understand with this thing first, and I wanted to do say differently. Actually, when you are going to use self, I'll tell you the fundamentals of self. First, try to understand how you can create object and how you can access the function which is written inside a class through object, okay. So this is how you should do. You should create the object. How you create object? So in Java and C++, you used to do new, right? So new and then name of the class and then the bracket over here, right? So those who are familiar with Java background or so this is how you used to do. But when you in Python, it is the new operator will not be there. New is again the kind of keyword from that programming language, not in Java. So this is how you will create an object and you will be able to call the function. Clear? Clear? Yes, have you understood the fundamentals of object and class? Now let's come back to this self function, what this self is all about. So self is all about, so what you need to do is, so whenever you're going to get this thing, it will directly come over here. But what is the use of self? That if you want to maintain an instance, okay? So self dot a is equal to a. Suppose if you want to maintain the value which is coming from the user, and later on if you want to play with the a variable, okay? So a is equal to a plus 1, okay. So if I wanted to do something like this, okay, so if I use a over here, a, so value of a will be, suppose I'm passing 10 over here, okay, so 10 will become 11 because I'm using only a. The value of a has changed over here, but if I use self dot a, because we have assigned a value to this particular thing, if I use self dot a, okay, I'm going to show you both way, okay. So let me just print directly so that you will be able to understand. Print a, not here, print self dot a. Okay. Now let me just show you how the value is going to change, how it is going to instance attribute inside init. Okay, this should be declared in inside init function actually. Fine. So it will again show me error. So there is a default function called as init function where it is supposed to be declared actually. Hyphen init. Yeah, this is the function where you are going to use this thing. Fine, not an issue. I'll show you that as well. Let me just show you with this. It will show, it will give you error actually. No, it has given me the right value. So you can use self there as well in this init function. So this is altogether different stuff. Forget about it. So just try to focus on this thing. So this self, since we have assigned a value to this, so we are getting the whatever value we have provided. Okay. So right now, because this a plus 1, the new value of a become 11, and 11 into 20 becomes 20. Okay. And the normal value of a, the normal value which has increased because of this operation, has changed to 11. But since we have already assigned it to another self.a, see, it is a only, but it is, we have maintained the instance. Yeah, constructor. Yes, Anurag, that init is a constructor. Okay, we'll not go in that part actually, so that that is not the thing which I wanted to explain today. Okay, so we'll use that init and all when we are going to deal with inheritance and those next concepts, the advanced concept of object-oriented programming. Clear? So this is how the self keyword will help you to maintain the instance. That's what I was talking about over here. It will maintain, help you to, it refers the current instance of the class. Okay, so current instance. Okay, and now it is the first parameter. Make sure. Okay, so this is very important. A lot of people may make mistake. If I remove self over here, okay, not this, like this, and if I put self over here, so it will not work. And a lot of people may have doubt like whether I can I use the different variable instead of self. Okay, so I don't want this self because self is written over there because it is current instance, its own instance, right? That's for self. But if you don't want this self, like I can use my. Okay, so if I use my, so it will also work. So it is not necessary that every time you need to use self, but it is recommended, it is good practice to go with self because it has some meaning. Okay, so if I go with my as well, it is just a renaming thing, so you can go with like that. Okay, so a lot of people don't know that, and they never touch this self. Okay, so can we have the people in that category, those who know this class and function for a long time, but then keyword or the parameter, the first parameter of the class? Do we have anybody over here who haven't tried touching? Because they might, most of people, they don't know the exact significance of each and every word. Yeah, Prajwal, yes. Okay, Shraddha as well. Okay, fine. So because, so you see, whenever you're going to do things, so this is kind of gentle advice for everybody. Whenever you're going to learn something new, if you don't know the meaning of anything, any damn thing, go and research. Do the research. Then only you will become the master of those things. Okay, so I don't want all of you, those who are listening to me, don't fall into the mediocre category. Don't be average. Always try to be the master of things, like I'm doing it in IoT. I'm writing a book on IoT actually. So this is something which I wanted to do mastery, and I have a dream actually. I have a dream that fast forward 5 years, if anybody is searching for Internet of Things, only the content of Akshay Shinde should be there on internet. My videos, my blogs, I'm having my website, my content, my online courses, my training, physical training as well if you want. So everything should be mine. So that's how you should train yourself to become a master of one particular thing. Okay, so it is going to give you a lot of results. Don't focus on multiple things, focus on one thing. And that, so there is video on my Instagram profile actually. Focus on one thing, that will help you. So I gave the same advice to the startup owners in Delhi. So from that I cropped the video and I put it on my Instagram profile. So it is there, just go and watch it. There are so many cool things available as well. Okay, well, this is clear about how to create function, a class, how you can access function of a class using the object. Okay, clear?